Just a brief and necessary content warning. The following video is graphic and very upsetting.
You're gonna get tased! Stop! Get on the ground now! Stay on the ground! Do not move! Do you understand?
Are you there?
No.
10:33. We got him.
Stand by.
This is a Louisiana police officer acting more like a vigilante gangster than someone who is tasked with protecting the community they're supposed to serve. Policing in America is a deadly game, even since protests of 2020 shed light on systemic abuses by officers, as appalling acts like this are still occurring. Thankfully, this officer was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison following this disgusting abuse of his position. So the victim was running away from Desadier and his co-officer before eventually stopping, getting on his stomach on the ground, and putting his hands behind his back. As you can sort of make out in the video, this is when Desadier approaches him. Then his co-officer asks if his body cam is on, to which he pauses, perhaps to check, says no, and then kicks this man in the face. So obviously the body cam was on, which is how we got to the truth of this interaction. I guess if you're sick enough to treat another human being like this, your mental faculties aren't exactly top tier. But the fact that it's on camera, that he intended to turn off the body cam, just makes this assault so much more damning because it is completely premeditated. The victim wasn't causing harm to himself or anyone else, and there wasn't even a potentiality for violence at this point. So this so-called officer of the peace was purely and simply out for blood. Folks online pointed out that that is how body cams work. Once they are turned off, they still film for about 30 seconds, which might be why this crime scene was captured. And thank God it was. It cannot be overstated how important developments like body cams are in holding police accountable. It is sickening to think of how many instances like this will never be brought to light because the technology wasn't available or it was disabled intentionally. Not only is this a gruesome assault, it's a complete abdication of the rule of law and an utter embarrassment of the office and to our country, which you as a police officer have sworn an oath of loyalty to. Instead, people like Desadier use their positions of power to simply cover up the gross crimes they feel like committing. As I said, he will be put behind bars for 6.5 years, and hopefully a lifetime of shame will follow that. Assistant Attorney General Kristen Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division in Louisiana said that, quote, the defendant's decision to callously assault an arrestee when he thought he wasn't being watched is an affront to the principles of honesty and integrity that our society expects from law enforcement. The state of police violence is still very much top of mind for many people in the criminal justice world, and we should be reminded that even though we have made significant gains in policing reform, there is still so much farther to go. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.